The waves were angry that night. The kind of angry that makes even seasoned fishermen step back from the shore. And yet, through the roar of the wind, Daniel heard a scream that didn't belong to the storm. He almost ignored it. Almost. Because when you're a single dad working 2 jobs, exhaustion becomes a second skin, and your first instinct is survival. Get home, check on your child, make sure tomorrow's lunch is packed. But something in that cry cut through every wall he'd built around himself since his wife passed away. It sounded like pure fear, the kind no one should face alone. Before we go further, if stories about courage, unexpected love, and second chances move your heart, make sure you like this video and subscribe, because sometimes the smallest moments can change an entire life. Daniel dropped his toolbox onto the wet sand and ran toward the shoreline. The ocean was a dark, churning mass under the storm clouds, white foam crashing like thunder. For a split second, he saw nothing, then another wave lifted, and there she was. A woman, barely visible, struggling against the current. Without thinking, Daniel kicked off his boots and plunged into the freezing water. The shock hit his chest like a punch, stealing his breath, but he pushed forward, fighting the pull of the tide. Every step felt like dragging chains, every wave threatening to knock him under. "Hold on," he shouted, though he doubted she could hear him. The current was stronger than he expected. Twice he nearly lost his footing, but the image of his 8-year-old daughter Lily waiting at home flashed through his mind, and it gave him strength. He reached the woman just as another wave crashed over them. Her eyes were wide with terror, hair plastered across her face, fingers clawing at the water. "I've got you," he said, wrapping an arm around her shoulders. "Don't fight me." She was trembling violently, barely conscious. Slowly, painfully, he guided them back toward shore, timing each step with the retreating waves until at last his feet hit solid sand. They collapsed onto the beach, both gasping for air. For a moment, neither spoke, just the sound of rain tapping against the sand and the ocean roaring behind them. "Thank you," she whispered, voice hoarse. Daniel nodded, catching his breath. "Are you hurt?" She shook her head weakly. "Just stupid." He helped her sit up. Up close, he noticed she didn't look like someone who belonged to this small coastal town. Her clothes, though soaked, were clearly expensive, her features refined, but there was a sadness in her eyes that felt painfully familiar. "I'm Daniel," he said. "Clara," she replied. He offered his jacket. "You shouldn't be out here alone in a storm." She gave a faint smile. "I suppose I needed to feel something." Daniel didn't ask more. Sometimes pain doesn't need questions, just quiet. He drove her to the small clinic in town, where the nurse checked her vitals and declared her lucky. As Clara prepared to leave, she turned to him. "I don't know how to thank you." "You don't need to," Daniel said. "Just be careful." But Clara didn't forget. Over the next few weeks, she found reasons to stay in town, renting a small cottage, walking along the pier, occasionally stopping by the diner where Daniel worked evening shifts. She'd sit quietly, sipping coffee, watching him joke with customers, noticing how he always brought home leftover pie for Lily. One afternoon, Lily came into the diner after school, backpack bouncing, eyes lighting up when she saw Clara. "You're the lady Dad saved," she said bluntly. Daniel flushed. "Lily." Clara laughed softly. "Yes, and I'm very glad he did." They began talking more. Clara learned about Daniel's life, how he'd lost his wife to illness 3 years earlier. How he worked construction by day and waited tables by night, how every decision revolved around giving Lily stability. Daniel learned that Clara had grown up in a world of boardrooms and expectations, that she'd spent years building a company, that success had come at the cost of loneliness. But she never mentioned just how successful she was. One evening, Clara joined them for dinner at Daniel's modest home. Lily showed off her drawings. Daniel cooked spaghetti slightly too soft, laughter-filled rooms that had known too much quiet. As Clara watched them, something shifted in her heart, a warmth she hadn't felt in years. Weeks turned into months. Daniel began to notice the way Clara listened, really listened, the way she saw people. She wasn't impressed by appearances, she valued kindness. Slowly, cautiously, he allowed himself to hope. But life rarely moves without testing us. One afternoon, Daniel received notice that the diner was closing. The owner couldn't keep up with rising costs. Losing that job meant losing half his income, the half that paid for Lily's school supplies and the occasional treat. He tried to hide his worry, but Clara saw through it. "You'll figure it out," she told him gently. "I always do," he said, though uncertainty weighed heavily. Around the same time, Clara received a call that changed everything. Her company, a multinational firm, needed her back urgently. Investors were demanding decisions, the media was asking questions. She couldn't stay hidden forever. That evening, she asked Daniel to walk along the beach, the same beach where they'd first met. "I need to tell you something," she said. He sensed the seriousness in her voice. "Okay." Clara took a breath. "I'm not just someone passing through. I own a company, a very large one." Daniel nodded slowly. "I figured you had a big job." She hesitated. "I'm a billionaire, Daniel." The word hung in the air like thunder. Daniel blinked, unsure how to respond. He'd never imagined that the woman who laughed in his kitchen and helped Lily with homework lived in a world of private jets and boardrooms. "I didn't tell you because I wanted you to know me, not my money," she continued softly. Daniel looked out at the waves. "I appreciate that." Silence stretched between them, not awkward, just heavy with new understanding. "I care about you," Clara said. "And about Lily. But I need to go back, at least for a while." Daniel nodded, heart tightening. "You should do what you need to." She reached for his hand. "I'm not saying goodbye." After she left, the house felt quieter than ever. Daniel threw himself into work, taking extra construction jobs, fixing neighbors' roofs, doing whatever he could. Nights were long, but Lily's smile kept him going. Months passed. Then one morning, a black car pulled up outside his house. Daniel opened the door to find Clara standing there, confident, radiant, yet with the same warmth in her eyes. "I missed you," she said simply. Lily ran forward, hugging her. Clara stepped inside and looked around, emotion shining through. "I've made some changes," she said. Daniel raised an eyebrow. "I've decided to open a community development fund, right here. Jobs, training programs, support for small businesses." Daniel stared. "You're serious?" She smiled. "Very." But then she added quietly, "And I came back because I realized something. Success means nothing if you have no one to share it with." Daniel felt a lump in his throat. They walked again along the shoreline. "I fell for you," Clara admitted. "Long before I admitted it to myself." Daniel took her hand. "I fell for you too. Not because of who you were in the world, but because of who you were with us." The ocean was calm now, gentle waves reflecting the sunset. Clara laughed, softly. "Funny, isn't it? The place where I nearly lost everything, is where I found it." Months later, the town was thriving. New opportunities, renovated buildings, hope returning. Daniel started a small construction business with support from the fund. Lily thrived in school, and Clara found joy in simple things, family dinners, beach walks, laughter. One evening, Daniel knelt on the sand, holding a small ring. "Clara," he said, voice steady, "you didn't need saving that night, but you saved us in ways you'll never know. Will you marry me?" Tears filled her eyes. "Yes." As they embraced, Lily cheered nearby, waves whispering against the shore. Life isn't about how much you have, it's about who stands beside you when the storm comes. Sometimes, the bravest thing we can do is dive into the unknown, and sometimes, love waits on the other side. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like the video, share it with someone who believes in second chances, and subscribe for more stories that remind us, kindness can change everything.